In this video, I'm going to cover a controversy that grammarians sometimes get into, and that's whether they can be used in a singular sense to avoid gender bias. To give you a little context for why I'm covering this, is recently in the workplace there's been a lot of attention that's been brought to the use of genderized pronouns and how they inadvertently discriminate against the LGBTQ community. So an example of this is how LinkedIn add in the ability to give your preferred pronouns in your profile. So I kind of have that as an example right here. You have your name and then which pronouns you prefer. So what is this controversy? Well, generally, singular pronouns need to refer back to singular antecedents, and an antecedent is just the noun the pronoun refers back to. And plural pronouns need to refer to plural antecedents. So some singular pronouns are words like he, she, I, and plural pronouns are like we or they. So here's an example of this in action to help you see it. So the student needs to prepare a presentation on his lab findings. So we have the singular word here, student, and then we have the singular pronoun, his, to refer back to student. For plural, we have the students need to prepare a presentation on their lab findings. So here we have plural because there's more than one student, and the plural pronoun there, okay? Now, the problem is in English, we do not have a singular pronoun that is gendered neutral, okay? Our only options for a singular pronoun basically are he or she, okay? So in this case, we have the student needs to prepare a presentation on what do we put essentially right here for the pronoun. We don't have anything in English. And a common solution, and it's a solution that's been around really for hundreds of years we used there in this situation, is we just plug in there when we don't necessarily maybe know the gender of the student, or we just kind of want to be neutral about it. So you will commonly hear this in everyday dialogue and conversation. Now, I will say one little caveat, as it's been coming up more and more. We do have a singular pronoun that is gender neutral, and it is the word it. However, historically, it's been considered degrading to use it to refer to a person. Usually, when you use it for a person, you say that you're robbing them of their personhood, or it's just impolite. So we still kind of want to avoid using it in writing. Also, it is usually referred to an object or an animal, so that could cause confusion for some readers. However, there are some in the LGBTQ community who do prefer that people use the pronoun it when referring to them. So on an individual basis, this may be okay, but generally when writing for the public, I would say still kind of stay away from using it. You don't want to be accused of being degrading to a person. All right, so here's the solution for grammar. All right, there's two options to avoid gender bias. The first is when you have a singular noun like student, you can say his or her. This sort of signals you don't know the gender of the student, or you're being gender inclusive. All right, or you can just use their that I mentioned earlier. When I was in college, using the his or her was a little more preferred. But in recent time, there's been more preference to use their because it's less cumbersome than having to write he or she repeatedly in a paper. Now, again, what does this mean in our class? Our textbook is technically going to tell you that using they in a singular sense is incorrect. You can't do it. You have to use he or she. Now, because I want to make sure that you understand the grammar concept that pronouns have to be in agreement with their antecedents and number, I'm going to hold to this rule when grading your exercises or quizzes, okay? So do not select they or their as a correct answer for a singular antecedent, okay? I won't accept the singular there. I'll only accept like he or she. Now, one little caveat, when writing your essays, though, I would prefer that you use the singular they over he or she. But technically, both are correct. You're not going to get marked off for either one for me in your essays or anything like that. And as a future note, APA now prefers the use of the singular they over he or she, and that's a bit of a change from older APA styles. Okay, I hope this video has helped you understand a bit of a grammar controversy that has been going on for quite a while, and that this will clarify what you should be doing for your exercises and papers.